Good morning. Cheryl Sarkassian was born in 1946. It turned out that her father was a truck driver who struggled with drugs and alcohol. And by the time that she was 10 months old, her mom and her father got divorced. Unfortunately, her mom continued to marry and divorce lots of men just like him, which led to a very unstable upbringing. The family was always moving. Sometimes they were on their own. Sometimes there was a man in the family. But it made life very hard, and they were always very poor. But Cheryl had a belief and a desire that one day she was going to be famous. She was going to make it. She was going to be somebody. She didn't know what she could do great, but she just felt it was in her. When she was 16 years old, she dropped out of high school. She left home, and she showed up in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. And there she began looking for anyone who could help her get an opportunity to sing, to perform. And by the time she was 19 years old, she and Sonny Bono were singing a song, "You Got Me, Babe." Her name became just Cher. And it's all she's known by today is Cher. She's one of the very few, if not only, artists to ever have a #1 hit single in 6 different decades. 6 consecutive decades, a #1 single on the Billboard 100. She has starred in so many different movies and had so many hit albums. I mean, the first song with Sonny Bono sold 30 million copies. It was unbelievable. Cher. Not long ago, Marsh and I were watching the second part of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And there was Cher, 70 years old, still singing and starring in a movie. She has been amazing through the years. I've loved her singing in the things that she has been starring in. But it's funny, with all those things, there's one of those things that I really remember about Cher. Years ago, she was advertising for a gym. And I'll never forget the commercial. There she was at a gym, and she was in her leotards looking great. And then she went to hopping on a Stairmaster. And then it was going to wind up being a bike she was riding. And then she was pumping iron. And then she was doing sit-ups and crunches. And now she's sweating. She still looks great. Throws a towel around her neck. She looks at the camera and says, "You know, the hardest part of working out is showing up." I never forgot it, because she's dead right. You know, we need to work out. We all need to be doing those things to be healthy, but there always seems to be excuses and reasons not to. The hardest part is showing up. It made me think about John Wesley. John Wesley was a very methodical and disciplined man. But it was back in May the 24th, 1738, he had promised a friend that he was going to go to a Bible study. But he didn't want to go. He wasn't in the mood. He didn't feel like it. And he even writes in his diary, he says, "I don't want to go, but I went unwillingly." How important. Didn't want to go, but I went unwillingly. Not because anybody forced him to, but because he was a disciplined man. He wanted to know more about God. He had said he was going to be there. He was disciplined, and he showed up. And that would be the night that he would write, "And that night my heart was strangely warmed. And that night I knew that God's grace was for me, even me." It became that heartwarming experience that changed John Wesley's life. On a night when he said, "I didn't want to go," but he went. He showed up, and it was the night that would change his life. You know, this week we're going to be starting Wednesday Night Alive. We do it every year because we want to create opportunity for people to be growing in their faith. And we've now worked it out to where you can come in person on Wednesday night to the Edmond campus and the downtown campus at 6:30 if you want to come. We're asking you to wear a mask, and we will social distance, but we're going to be able to meet and have classes. But if you're not ready to be coming in person, which is fine, we're going to have so many classes online. You can be at home. There you can be safe. It can be comfortable, and you can join in, and you can be working online and also be growing in your faith. How many times each day we think about getting up and reading a daily devotional, being disciplined to stop and simply have time for prayer. Sometimes it's really about showing up. If you want to hear God speak, you want to grow in your faith. We know the things that we need to do, but sometimes it's really easy not to do them. Maybe this week, you and I can make a commitment. For those things that matter, we're going to take the time and show up. I pray you have a great day.